Not Nerd Podcast, episode 239. It's always good to have options.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we're here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Good day to you, sir. It's always so good to see your smiling face on any time that we record the show over Zoom or if we're in person. Maybe someday we'll be in person again. I don't know. Now, someone who will never be in person are our international listeners, Nate. And I just wanted to take a moment to just do a shout out to all of our listeners around the world. Of course, our top downloaded country is the United States, mainly because it's our parents who are downloading all these shows. The United Kingdom comes in second, and then Ireland. And this is just this year in 2020, the top countries, followed by Australia, France, Canada, and then Brazil. And then they kind of trail off after that. And I wanted to give a shout out to Brazil because each time I go into the show to see where the downloads are coming from, Brazil's always popping up. They're one of our quickest countries to download the show. Nice. So if you're from Brazil and you're listening to this program, get in contact with us and we'll give a shout out to you on the show because we'd love to hear from somebody down there.
Yes.
You can contact us by dialing our number, which is
608-618 NERD, which is 6373.
Or we have a form on our website, the numbers on the website as well.
Yes.
And you can just fill out the little form and let us know you're from Brazil. We would love to hear from you. And maybe we'll do some more of this type stuff. Now, we can't promise to like send you a swag bag or something like that because we are not rich people. But who knows? Maybe we'll do something special for our international listeners who write in to let us know that they exist. So That's it.
Yes. Thank you very much. It is fun to have the ability to broadcast worldwide, as they would say. Well, we've got some follow-up this week, and we could do another hour on iOS 14 that's coming in the fall for the iPhone and the iPad. Well, it'll be iPad OS. But I did find Apple put out a complete list of all the new features coming with iOS 14.
Wow.
And there is a lot of stuff I hadn't heard. I mean, they are updating all kinds of stuff. So you can click the link in the show notes, as always, and go read through that and see, like, a lot of improvements to reminders, photos, notes, podcasts. I mean, it just goes on and on. And so instead of us droning on with it, if it's something you're interested in, or you might find something that convinces you to run the public betas next month, I would recommend just scrolling through there because it is impressive how many features they are adding in.
And a reminder that these features will be coming to phones as old as the iPhone 6S, the original iPhone SE, and then the iPod Touch 7th generation.
Wow.
Can you believe it? If you have an iPod Touch, you can run iOS 14.
And our next story is a little different this year, obviously, as everything is, but Apple has announced their 2020 Design Award winners. Now, these are all, somebody noted that they are all available for, or mostly, iPhone and iPad. There are a couple games that are available, like on Apple TV and Mac as well. I hadn't heard of, I don't think, any of these. Darkroom, which is a great photo app, I had heard of, but there's none of them that I use. Dave, have you played any of these games? Are you familiar with any of the things on this list?
Yes, Sayonara Wild Hearts was a popular Apple Arcade game, and I actually did play that on Apple Arcade when I was going through the trial subscription and completed the game. It's a very great game. It's available on other platforms. You can play it on PC.
Okay.
I think even now you might even be able to get it for the Switch, but definitely like Xbox and PlayStation. So I played that. I did Sky Children of Light is a game that you can download for free. You do not have to have an Apple Arcade subscription. I have played that. Those are the only two games on the list that I've played. I was interested in Staff Pad. This is where it's an iPad app and you have a music staff and you just write the notes in and it'll transcribe it and transpose it into musical notes. It's incredible. I wasn't familiar with that application, but I've seen other ones like it. But I was really impressed with it. I sent it to a friend of mine to check out, and he was impressed. So, yeah, a great list of applications. But you're right; they're primarily iOS compatible.
Yeah. Yeah,
applications.
I heard somebody talking about the first one they have listed, which is Shaper without the E 3D, and it's a CAD software for the iPad, and it sounds like it's pretty impressive. I have a client that does CAD design and is wants to get a Mac, but might have to get a PC to be able to do CAD files. And I was like, man, if you could do a 12.9-inch iPad with the Apple Pencil to do all of your CAD work. I mean, he's old school guy. He does it in pencil and then converts it into, design. He's got a drafting table and all that stuff. And so I'm gonna have him check that out and see, because these iPads are so powerful, and if you could do everything right there, it says it's compatible with all the major file formats, which is one of his concerns. But yeah, there's some impressive apps out there, and it's always fun to, well, especially when Apple chooses these ones for their design prowess, that you can find them easily on a list linked to in our show notes.
Yeah, and that particular one is free to try, and it'll either cost you $32 a month or $239 a year. It looks like for that. It's pro application, but 11,000 ratings, 4.7 stars.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are using this application.
Yeah.
So my guess is your client would be able to make use of it as well.
And I think it was AutoCAD, the longtime leader of CAD software. It was going to be a couple $1,000s a year because, of course, they've moved to a subscription model. So this is just pennies compared, and might be a much better tool. So might be reporting back on that one.
Cool.
The Apple Card. The Apple credit card, I have one. You've talked about your protecting your credit score, so you have not applied for one. Well, there's two new pieces of news on this. The first one, they have launched a website where you can manage your Apple Card. There was a lot of talk about how you could only do it on your phone, and people didn't really like that. Well, now they have a beautifully done website where you can go and manage, much like any other credit card, all of those things via a web browser on your computer.
Now, do you ever use your physical card, or do you always just use it in your wallet, your digital wallet?
I only use it in my digital wallet, and it is mostly because I get the, whatever it is, 3% back. I use it for my iOS subscriptions and my iPhone payment plan. So I
thought you were going to say in-app purchase for Candy Crush.
Yes, no, not me. No way, not going to do it. But yeah, so I use it in a very limited fashion. I do carry it in my wallet because it looks cool, and I can show off and brag that I have one. But yeah, very nice feature there. And then another program that they have that I think this is really cool. It's the Path to Apple Card. So if you apply for an Apple Card and get denied, your credit isn't the best, they have a 4-month program to help you get your credit straightened out. And they give you tips, and they tell you what was wrong. Now, somebody like Credit Karma or any of these services would tell you the same things, but it will tell you why you didn't get approved, what you should do, and then after, I believe it is 4 months, you can apply again, and if you've met all the recommendations, then you'll be able to get an Apple Card. So I think it's a very helpful little program for people to be able to, if you don't have great credit and you have Apple products, maybe that's why you don't have great credit, because you've spent all your money on Apple products. It can run up to 4 months, but it's they use the information that Goldman Sachs, that they've partnered with, to deny you. They will give you the advice on how to get your credit up. So I obviously don't need to try that out, and I don't think you would if you tried to apply for it, but it is one of those nice features that could help somebody. I heard somebody talking about, their son just graduated from college, they applied, they couldn't get it, and they don't have a great credit score. Well, they can use this now to get it set up.
Yeah. No, if you're like a young person who's just starting out in life and going to college, or maybe you just got out of college, maybe you want to take advantage of this and just aren't quite able, they'll give you the tips to do it. I think it's a great program.
Yes. Well, Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day has reportedly been delayed again from, it's usually in July, so it would be like next week. They delayed it till September. Now word says they've delayed it till October. So If you're looking to get a cheap deal on Amazon tablets or whatever you're looking, you're going to have to wait a little longer. They're just worried about supply chain and having enough supply with everything going on.
Yeah. I can see it being a little risky for them to do this. Everybody buys a bunch of stuff and it's like, oh, you can't get it for 2 months. That's not a great experience for your customers.
No. And then, yeah, there's really no reason not to delay it, just as long as they can. Then they're getting closer to the holiday spending period, so more people might even be motivated if they do everything kind of at the same time there, as long as they might just end up melding it with Black Friday sales.
Sure.
Thanksgiving week sales. Also Amazon related, just like everybody else in the streaming business, Prime Video has introduced Watch Party, where you can watch something on Prime Video with up to 100 other people.
Now, I want to hear from any of our listeners if you've ever done this, because Hulu's been able to do it for a while. It was a thing for Netflix for, I don't know if it still is a thing or whatever, but it was at one time. But I haven't met anybody who's ever done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not done it. So yes, please, listeners, if this is something you have been doing, let us know how it works and how the experience was. Again, on streaming services, we talk about them a lot on the podcast, and I found a report that came out a couple weeks ago about which streaming service is the best bang for your buck in 2020. So they took Prime Video, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, and Apple TV Plus, and looked how many TV shows you got, the quality TV shows, which are how they're rated on IMDb, and then I believe they also did movies as well. So this seems like a no-brainer to me, Dave. Prime Video, which you get with Amazon Prime, so you're already getting a million other features. They also have the most TV shows and movies available. So Prime Video is the way to go, but of course there's things that aren't on Prime Video. Apple TV is the lowest, but it's only their original content. They haven't expanded that. Disney Plus is down there, but now they have Hamilton, so
yeah,
the bang for your buck is relative. How did you enjoy it? We have not watched it yet.
Yeah, we enjoyed it a lot. My wife, my son, and I watched it. Of course, we have been big fans of the soundtrack for a couple years now, and so we finally got to put the action to the lyrics, and it made much more sense, and it was much more enjoyable to watch. And it clocks in around 3 hours.
Yes.
But it did not seem like that. It seemed like about a 1.5, 2 hour program.
Nice.
It went by really quickly, but the music's fantastic. The talent is incredible. The choreography is great. The set design, the lighting, everything is really top notch. And so if you're interested in Broadway type programs, even in the slightest, this is the one you should watch.
Yes. We are planning to watch it at some point when our daughter is not distracting us, so we can pay attention.
Maybe we could do a watch party.
Oh, yeah. Somehow. There we go. Does Disney Plus have that?
Well, we could always do like FaceTime and watch, go 1, 2, 3, press, and maybe we would want to mute it so there's not an echo or something.
Sounds exciting. And more streaming news. My beloved YouTube TV has increased its prices again and added some more channels. So a 30% price jump up from, I believe it was $50 up to $65 a month.
This is, I mean, I don't know the story, but it feels like the content holders are strong-arming YouTube. Yes. I can see YouTube saying, we don't want your crappy channels. We're happy with the channels that we have. And the content holders are going, if you don't take these other channels, we're going to pull out the previous channels. And YouTube says, okay, we'll take your channels, but we're going to have to raise our price because we can't afford these new channels. They're like, well, that's on you, YouTube. And so I really feel like the villain here are the content holders who are kind of strong-arming YouTube. But this is just pure conjecture. I do not have any evidence to this.
Yes, and they did add 8 networks from, I believe, Viacom, which I had mentioned weren't on there. You get BET, CMT, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, Paramount Network, TV Land, and VH1. So they are somewhat popular channels. Nickelodeon is huge. MTV was once huge. Comedy Central,
But this is just cable all over again.
It is.
Where the price goes up, they add all these channels, and guess what? You're paying a subscription, and the channels still have commercials.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what? Why am I doing this?
The dream was that you would, with digital, you'd be able to do the a la carte thing, which this is not a realization of that. So I think I'm going to stay with it for now. But like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Amazon's rumored to be doing something, so maybe they'll be able to have a better deal. I do like the YouTube TV. It's got some great features, unlimited DVR. It works well on the Apple TV. But I am not committed to it when the price keeps going up.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch, more streaming stuff, breaks 5 billion with a B hours of streaming in Q2. 5 billion hours.
I think that was just my son watching it on his phone.
Yes.
Or at least half of that.
But if I bring this story up because a lot of people go, oh, people just watching game streaming. That's not really, that big of a deal. 5 billion hours, that's a big deal. This is, and we just talked about Mixer, Microsoft's Mixer going away. If you do look at the article, it looks at all of the streaming services. YouTube Gaming Live also saw a 20% increase, and Facebook Gaming was up as well. So all of these streaming services are doing a ton of traffic.
Well, it seems like Microsoft got out of the business at the wrong time.
I know.
Or maybe their demise helped everybody else rise. I'm not sure.
Or everybody else was doing so good and they were doing so horrible that I think I did see something that Microsoft was having some issues with some of their streams, so the quality just was not there.
It looks like Mixer's total hours watched just decreased over time continuously. It had a bump, but it would look like it was going the wrong way on the chart that I'm looking at.
Yeah. So the streaming
we barely
gaming,
knew ye.
Yes. Rest in peace. And this next story, I can't believe it, Dave. I thought we'd never talk about Mirror.co again, the workout mirror for your home. And we might have had a rumor on this, or it was somebody else that they bought, but Lululemon, famed for their athletic wear, has announced a plan to purchase Mirror.co for $500 million.
Yikes. And according to my math, that's $500 million.
I think that works out.
Yeah, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Let me get my
your calculator out.
But I can't. 500 million. Somebody must be buying these things. Oh, and it looks like we did report on that about 6 months ago, but I had forgotten. So it looks like it's official now that they are investing in it. So whatever.
Interesting.
I will not be buying one. But you know what? Good on me, and good on every week is Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Well, my friend, nary a day goes by that I don't have to go in and adjust an audio thing or a brightness level or something on my computer because I'm doing a conference call or the lights are off or whatever. And so my tip this week is to help Macintosh users navigate their settings in a more optimized way. And I think we've mentioned these shortcuts in the past, but I'd like to take a little bit deeper dive. And this week, our friend is the Option key. Mm-hmm. Now, it's always good to have options.
Yeah.
And so with the Option key on the Mac, it can do magical things to all of your menu items. Take, for example, if I wanted to switch my audio input on my Mac, I find myself regularly going to the settings, finding the little speaker icon that's the sound, and I click on it, and it brings up a display. And then there's a little tab across the top for input and output. It's too many clicks.
Yes.
What if I told you, Nate, if I just held the Option key down and I clicked the little speaker volume icon in my menu bar, I see both the output and the input. Now I need to back up a little because you do have to go to the system sound preferences to turn the menu item on to begin with. The sound, there'll be a little box that says show sound preferences in menu bar. But if it's in there and you click it, it only shows you the output device. Now, if you hold down Option and click it, it shows you both input and output devices. Why it's not like that by default, God only knows.
Yes.
Apple engineers only know. I don't know why. But wait, there's more. If you have Wi-Fi in your menu bar, which I think that's on by default, the little looks like a little fan icon. If you hold down the Option key and click that, instead of getting just a list of Wi-Fi broadcasting antennas in your area, you're going to get a lot more information. You're going to get your IP address, your router's address, a bunch of security information, like transmission rates and all of these different things. For the nerd in all of us, if we're wanting to know more information, but the key here is saving time. You can find this information elsewhere on your Mac settings, but who wants to dig through to find all this stuff? And honestly, I forget about this one. The point is, the Option key is a great tool for discovery. If you hold it down while clicking on other things, like your desktop, icons, folders, menu bar, you'll often be surprised by the additional options, ding, ding, that the Option key gives you. So give it a try.
Yes, I like it. I like the Option key. Well, let's move on to our takes of the week. I don't know if we've ever talked about Cameo on the podcast. It has been a service where you pay a celebrity or anybody that signed up on the service to send you a shout out. They do a little video and say, "Oh, happy birthday, Dave." So I could have, your favorite celebrity,
Flo Rida. I could have Flo Rida do a little birthday shout out, and they charge whatever they want. Well, they now have a feature where you can schedule a Zoom call with a celebrity. What?
Yes, and it says Cameo now lets people pay up to $15,000 to have a Zoom call with a celebrity. So for your birthday, Dave, you will not be getting a call with Jeremy Piven because he is charging $15,000 for a 10-minute Zoom call.
And point of order, could you tell me who that person is?
Oh, Jeremy Piven, the famous actor from Politically Correct or Politically Incorrect, I believe was the movie, or Old School. Also from the famed HBO show Entourage. He's been around quite a while. I have heard rumors from other celebrities he's not the coolest guy to hang out with, but hey.
Well, from my perspective, he's not an A-list actor. Even as I Google him and look at an image of him, I'm like, I don't know who this person is. So maybe I'm just out of touch. I'm thinking like Tom Cruise or like...
for top dollar. Well, comparatively, skateboarder Tony Hawk, who everybody knows, charges...
That's a name I've heard of.
$1,000 for a Zoom call. And football player Brett Favre charges $5,000 for a Zoom call. So in some of it, you can find much cheaper ones on there. I'm sure they've probably, Jeremy Piven doesn't want to do this, but if somebody's willing to pay him $15,000, hey, why not?
What can I get for a Jimmy Kimmel? What's Jimmy Kimmel going to cost?
Well, I don't know if he's on there, but let's go on and we can see what they've got reality TV star section. Oh, man.
What can I get for a Survivor reality star person?
Yeah.
$450 maybe.
Yes, I'm not seeing Jimmy Kimmel on there. There's several other Jimmys. Let me see if I type Survivor. Tina Wesson, Survivor Australia winner. For $30, you can get a shout out. Or Coach Ben Wade, Ozzy, he's on there. The War Dog, Spencer. So it looks like there's...
Oh, yeah.
Sandra, the queen of Survivor. Tyson.
Now, I would talk to Tyson or Sandra. I recognize those names for sure.
And those are just the shout outs. Those aren't necessarily the Zoom calls. But Cameo is a very interesting thing. It allows these people... I should sign up on there just to see if somebody wants a message from my mustache, and I could make a little side cash on there.
Again, back to our listeners, if anybody wants to do a Cameo with us, we don't have to sign up through the service.
Yes.
But if you want to pay $15,000 to do a Zoom call with us, we'll gladly do it. You could get 2 for 1, and we'll give you a full hour.
Yeah. We'll let you come on the podcast for pennies.
Yeah.
We are...
Our barrier is very low.
Yes, we are no Jeremy Piven. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So there's it's fun to go and look on there just to see who is doing it. Tay Zunde, Chocolate Rain, Do you know that song?
Oh, yeah. I know Chocolate Rain.
He's on there making money. So yeah, it's an exhaustive list of celebrities and non-celebrities that are offering their services.
Well, I'm looking at this, and you're probably going to want to do the ringside with the WWE guys. They've got a bunch of wrestlers, and they must do like a group. There's like 6 or 8 names listed here.
Yeah. So they'll send you a little message, and then you have a fun video from a celebrity. You know, this is the new version of getting an autographed photo or a picture with somebody. You can get a little video and do that. Maybe I'll try it out. I'll find somebody that's really cheap that I might care about and see what they'll do for me.
It's so fun. Maybe we can pool our money.
Yes, there we go.
Get some B-list celebrity from a 90s sitcom or something.
We'll do a GoFundMe for our listeners to see how much money we can raise and how good of a celebrity we can get. You can get not Tom Cruise, a Tom Cruise impersonator.
Well, that might be worth it.
Yes. Okay. Well, enough Cameo talk. And Dave, also for your birthday, I will not be getting you a spot robot from Boston Dynamics, even though they are selling them now.
Oh, man. I mean, for the price of like 5 or 6 Jeremy Piven's Zoom videos, you could have got me one of these things.
I know.
They're coming in at $74,500. Now, this is a gift. Even if I got it, I'm not sure I'd want it.
Yes.
Because I think I'm scared of these things.
Yes. Yeah. So these are the robot dogs that we've all seen videos of. Now they have a commercial version available. And then there's a lot of accessories that you can get too that will quickly raise the price up. But yeah, for just under $75,000. And I think I did hear that this is for, business use. This isn't something, but I'm sure if you give them $75,000, they'll let you have one for your home. If you're making a lot of money on Cameo, you might be able to afford one of these. Maybe that's what Jeremy Piven's doing. He just needs to get those 5 calls going so that he can buy his spot robot. But this stuff is a little scary. These Boston Dynamics robots are pretty impressive. They have a good video on the link in the show notes if you want to go check it out.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they come with a battery and a charger, but you can certainly get a battery for almost $5,000
yes.
and a charger for over $1,500.
Yes, it is. Not for the cheap. I'm not sure the holistic cost works out on that. This next story, it's not much of a tech story, but it is a good reminder of something we've talked about in the past, and it's a website called Have I Been Pwned? PWNED, and this is the story of Troy Hunt, who started this website. And what it is, you type in your email address, and it tells you if your email has been in any of the many breaches that we talk about in our security and privacy stories. But it talks through kind of the background in it and how he's kind of become the #1 resource for a lot of this data. So just a good reminder, if you're interested in this story, you can go read through it. It's quite lengthy and thorough. But Have I Been Pwned? Just go there, type in your email address, see if you've been in any new breaches that you didn't know about. I've typed mine in, and it's usually services that the password, I was not using a secure one, but I'm going to type mine in. I'm going to type in my Not Nerd email address, nate@notnerd.com. Good news, no pwnage found.
Yeah, mine, I always put mine in, and it's always the same one. There's like a sketchy web host that was for free that I did a long time ago. Adobe always comes up. Zynga, which was, I think, purchased by Facebook. They're that gaming company. Yeah. And a bunch of other services. MyFitnessPal had a breach. So my standard kind of online email address is part of that. So the chances are, if you have an email address and you go online, you've been pwned.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's great to be aware of where the leak happened so you can rectify that.
Yep. They've got some good resources there. The next story, TikTok. We've talked about TikTok, but this was an interesting look at the world of prison TikTok. So you are not allowed to have cell phones in prison, but much for the reason that people are probably in prison, they don't really care about the rules, so they have contraband phones, and there's this group of prisoners that are able to post stuff on TikTok. It also talks in the article about how it allows them to connect with family and stuff, just having the cell phone, but being able to show kind of what daily life is like in prison or issues. There's one story about, that the cell was flooded and they weren't able to take a shower for, days and days and all of these different things. But very interesting. TikTok is everywhere, including in prison where you might not think it.
I've been trying to get my kids to stop using TikTok. Now I could do the nuclear option and be like, I'm taking your phone, I'm smashing with a hammer. But I'm trying to more subtly get them to get on board by sending them articles of how, TikTok is just a giant spyware for the Chinese government and various things. And they they might get on board one of these days, but we shall see.
Yes. It is addicting, and I had it, was using it too much, removed it from my phone, put it back on there, started scrolling through, and I was like, man, I don't have time for this. I need to do something else with my time. Our last take of the week this week is just an interesting story that gives you a little insight into funding and the tech bubble and just how this world works. There was this tech Twitter. All of a sudden, it was 3 emojis, an eyeball, a mouth, and an eyeball, started showing up everywhere, and people were putting it next to their profile, and they were saying something's coming. Everybody's trying to figure out what this next big thing is. They put together a website, and you could give your email address if you wanted to be on the beta list. And it turns out it was just a bunch of, tech people that had kind of started joking around in a chat and decided to put this out there. They got 30,000 email addresses within like 24 hours. And then they were also saying that you would be able to get early release or early access to the beta if you made a donation to any of these charities. Well, they raised like $200,000 for these charities, and then they just kind of came out and said, come on, people, you are way too eager to jump on the next bandwagon. We just did this to see what would happen and raise money for these charities. So there's no actual product. But venture capitalist firms are trying to contact them and invest before they even know what it is. And that just goes to show you that people are way too eager to jump onto a bandwagon that, in this case, did not even exist.
It's kind of like forced charity work, because a lot of people who have disposable income really should be giving back to their communities and programs and to people all around the world. But of course, many of us are stingy and we just want to save our money. So this was kind of a neat way to vet those people who have disposable income and force them to be a little charitable. Now, it's a sneaky way, and I don't condone their tactics, but it's nice that they didn't just keep the money for themselves. There probably would have been legal ramifications for that.
Yes.
But who's going to go contact a charity and say, give me my money back?
Yep, exactly. They did mention some people were a little upset about how they did it, and they also started a merchandise starting selling swag, and they sold over $10,000 in swag. This was in 36 hours they had done this stuff. And then
why don't we think of things like this?
I don't know.
We could be thousandaires.
Yes, we could. But yeah, pretty interesting little story. You can, find the link and read through and just kind of see the whole progression of it and how it worked out. But some money went to some charities in the end. So, and some other people maybe learned their lesson not to just blindly jump onto anything out there.
Good news.
Our security and privacy stories of the week. The first one, there was, believe it was 25 Android apps that had been downloaded more than 2 million times, which really isn't that huge in the Android world, but there's still plenty of people that download these, where they had fake pages, phishing pages for Facebook. So it would pop up, you download the app, you open it up, sign in with Facebook. Well, they were doing a fake page, taking your credentials, and then you weren't signing in with Facebook. So this is another one of those warnings. Just be careful of what you're signing up for, and especially with the Facebook sign in with Facebook, which you always talk about how you never use, and I'm using it a lot less. But I believe Google has removed these apps, and it's that constant game of trying to stay ahead of the bad actors out there.
It's whack-a-mole. And I, I'm not an authority, but I recommend just using your email address with your password. Create a new
unique password
and password for each of these services. Then when you sign into them, it'll send you an email, typically, if there's any funny business or whatever. Not that you can't be duped that way.
Yeah.
And, but if you have a unique password, it's like, oh, well, they got that, but they didn't get into my Facebook. They didn't get into my email. They didn't get into my bank account or whatever. So be safe out there, my friends.
And another story to prove your point, Dave, from Facebook, that they were caught sharing data with developers that it shouldn't have. So
I am shocked.
Yes.
I am shocked and dismayed.
Yeah. So I read through this because I was trying to understand what was happening. And I read both this article from Engadget and the Facebook blog post. So what was happening is developers who sign in with Facebook, just like we were just talking about. So let's say you have an exercise app that you download, you sign in with Facebook, and then you invite your friends, and so you can all do your workouts together. Well, the way Facebook is set up, if you don't use that app for 90 days, the developers should not have access to any of your Facebook data any longer. Now, they say that it was only giving information that you publicly make available, so like age and gender or something, let's say for a exercise app, so it can calculate that stuff. Well, these apps, said approximately 5,000 developers were getting data longer than this 90 days. So if you download the app, used it once with Facebook, they were still able to access this basic information from you. They said they fixed it the day after it was discovered and plans to keep investigating, as they always say they are. But yeah, it's good that they fix it so quick. Wasn't the worst data. They didn't have full access to your account or anything, but these developers weren't supposed to be getting this information, and they were. And I believe Facebook said, we aren't sure how long this was happening. And it's like, well, probably forever.
Yeah. Since the beginning of time.
Yes. And one more security and privacy story. It's been a long time since we've talked about any of these reports that come out every once in a while. This one's from ZDNet, and this goes back to our Please Use Good Passwords. It says that 1 out of every 142 passwords is 123456.
Wow.
So it was spotted 7 million times across a data trove of 1 billion leaked credentials in one of the biggest password reuse studies of its kind. So we can't say this enough. Please use LastPass. You've got to be using unique passwords, because if you use the same password everywhere, like we talked about with Have I Been Pwned, it's going to get leaked somewhere, and then they're going to have access to any other service that you use that password. And they have servers upon servers that all they do is try these passwords on services to try to get your information from you.
That is true.
Yes. The couple other statistics from the report. The most common 1,000 passwords cover 6.607% of all the passwords. With most common 1 million passwords, hit rate is at 36.28%, while the most common 10 million passwords hit rate of 54%. So if you think you're being clever by using the password but changing the O to a 0, you are part of these common passwords that, again, they have servers where if they have your email address, they'll just start trying the most common passwords until they crack in. 12% passwords contain special characters, 29% are letters only, 26% are lowercase only, 13% are numbers only. People, I don't know what to tell you. You're just asking for trouble if you don't use good passwords.
That is truth.
Our bonus odd take of the week, Dave, this one is just for you. It is a really quirky little website that I found in my internet travels called the URL is cat-bounce.com. You load the website, and it looks like about 6 cats fall from the top and bounce down. But then with your mouse, you can click on the cats and make them bounce again and throw them off the screen. Just
a pro tip: if you throw them too hard against the floor, they just go through the floor and don't come back.
Yes,
so
or off the screen too far. You gotta be careful with your cats there. But I mean, just one of those. It is one of the dumbest little websites. But after the security and privacy stories, we've got to. Whoa! Did you hear that? You can press the "Make It Rain" button, and hundreds of cats fall down from the top.
I guess once you get rid of all your cats by illegally throwing them through the floor or the wall, you have to reload the site to get your 6 cats back.
yes. You can click on the little help question mark in the corner, and it says, some cats are bouncier than others. More force equals more bounce. Use a gentle touch if you're losing cats. A cat at rest does not always remain at rest. It rains year-round, but sometimes there's snow. Resize or reload to change background color. Reset to retrieve cats. Remember, more force equals more bounce. And there's some more information there about the website, but looks like it was created in 2012. But there are a lot of random websites out there, and this is definitely one of them.
I love this type of stuff. Good times.
Yes. You know what else is always good times? Our picks of the week.
Now, Nate, you were talking about doing something special this time for our picks. And over the years, we've had, what have we been doing this over 4 years?
Yeah.
We have lots and lots of picks. This is our 239th episode. And so we wanted to revisit a couple of those picks. And we thought if we're still using some of the things that we picked in the past, then they are relevant today and we should mention them again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my pick of the week this time is the KeySmart key management system. On the surface, it looks much like a Swiss Army knife.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a plate on the top and a plate on the bottom, and you sandwich your keys in between them, put a couple pins in, and now you've got switchblade key access. Not really switchblade, but you've got a Swiss Army knife looking key holder that is a much better experience of putting multiple keys in your pocket than putting them on a ring. Man, when I had my keys on a ring, they'd always dig holes through the bottom of my pockets. And then the next time I'd throw my key in there, it'd be going down my leg. So I maybe I just have sharp keys. I don't know. But I tell you, KeySmart, I've been using this thing for years. And I did do an upgrade at one point and got the KeySmart that has the integrated tile tracking service in it. And it's got a flashlight. I mean, we're talking super fancy. But the KeySmart, Amazon has them. Of course, you can go to keysmart.com and buy them off their website. But on Amazon, I see they have the like standard KeySmart compact key holder for around $23. You can get the Pro, which I have, that has the built-in tile tracking device. It's about $50. I did not pay $50 for it. I got it on sale. And they come in multiple sizes. They now have a multi-tool that you can include inside of there to get extra functionality, to maybe kind of turn it into a type of Swiss Army knife that has keys. There are little key ring attachments for like your key fob. It comes with one, but if you want additional ones, there's all kind of things. They make a magnetic quick connect thing that you can get to pair up with your KeySmart. But I love this product. I've been using it solidly for almost the entire time we've been doing this podcast. So I love it.
Yes. And it looks like for $11 you can get just kind of the cheap plastic KeySmart version there. So that was what your original pick was. And that was back on episode 86 titled iPod, We Hardly Knew Ye. And that was, I can't even believe this, that was about 3 years ago, August 3rd, 2017. I don't know where the time goes, but I'm going to talk about from my pick from that episode as well. And this goes along with our theme this episode, it seems, of security and privacy. And it is a service called Authy. And what Authy is we've talked in the past about two-factor authentication, and how with a lot of services that you sign up for, you can set up two-factor authentication, like with your email, where it'll send a code, maybe to your phone, which isn't always secure, or they'll try to call you, like with your bank. Well, a lot of them will also use Google's Authenticator service, where you have the app on your phone and you open up the app and it gives you the 6-digit code and it changes every 30 seconds. Well, the problem with Google Authenticator is that it lives on your one phone in that one app. So when you change phones, it's a hassle, all these different things. Authy mimics the Google Authenticator service, but you can use it on many devices. So I have it on my phone. They'll even show up on my Apple Watch. But I also have the Authy desktop on my Mac, so I'm not having to get if I'm working on my computer, go to sign in to one of these services, it asks for the code. I don't have to grab my phone, unlock it, open up the Authy app, get the code. I can have Authy desktop on my computer, and then right there I can copy the code. They've got a copy button, and I use it for probably 15 or 20 services, just with different clients' accounts and all these different things. Now, it's not going to be as secure as the Google Authenticator, but you do have a password, and it's nice. It'll keep you signed in forever, but every once in a while it'll say, hey, do you remember your password? Type it in. So you kind of get that habit of remembering what your password is for it. I would say on the security spectrum, it is very, very helpful to have two-factor authentication. So if somebody does get your login and password for a service, they wouldn't have this code. So it adds that additional layer of security, and Authy brings it back down to the easy use a little bit because you can have it on multiple devices. So if you had more than one computer and your phone, you'd always have access to these codes. So it is something I use multiple times a day and have been for at least 3 years now. And I just highly recommend it. So I think we will every once in a while go back and pick some, because most of you have not listened to every episode, or if you have, you've forgotten about some of these great picks we've had in the past. Mm-hmm. And we still use them all the time, and we might bring them up, but it's good to highlight some of these great picks again.
Well, I just downloaded it and am installing it now. I am paying attention to you, of course.
Yes.
But I put it on my computer, and I'm going to look forward to this. I did experiment a couple weeks ago with the Microsoft Authenticator. Mm-hmm. And of course, I saw the Google Authenticator, and I saw another one. I'm just like, I don't know which one to use. So it seems like Authy is really great because it transcends services and platforms. So I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah, and I do believe that LastPass has one built in, but I like using a second one, because then if somebody somehow got access to my LastPass, they would have the keys to the kingdom. Per se. Well, our Ramazon purchase of the week, we love it when you guys use our Amazon links. You guys keep doing it. When you're going to shop on Amazon, you go to amazon.notnerd.com or one of the links on our website or in our show notes, and it gives us a little kickback, and I get to look through these lovely anonymous reports. Now, Dave, this one might have been you, but I don't think so with your new car. But this, you've been a little off on your price guesses for a while now.
Mm-hmm. So
I thought I would throw it back to your wheelhouse. And the most popular videos on our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, are your Bluetooth FM transmitter videos. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, this is not one of the ones that you have reviewed, but you might be familiar with it in your research. This is the VictSing upgraded version Bluetooth FM transmitter auto scan unused station Bluetooth audio adapter for car with 1.8-inch color screen, QC 3.0 EQ modes, aux, hands-free calls. Was this you, Dave? Did you purchase this?
It was not me. I'm familiar with this brand because they also make webcams for your car. You know, those dash cam things. And so I've been kind of pricing those out a little bit. A couple numbers went into my mind, and I'm so scared of being off on this.
Yes, I'll send you a picture, because this is a pretty sweet one. It's got a nice little
color screen.
Yeah,
Can you watch TV on the thing?
I don't think so, but it does give you quite a bit of feedback. It looks like it's got a USB 3 charger and a USB 2 charger on there. Plugs into your cigarette lighter and then allows you to connect your device to your car stereo.
This looks very similar to one that I own that my daughter currently is using. It may actually be like a white label where they just put their brand on it. Man, I'm trying to recall back what these things cost. I think they were like $35. box back then. I'm going to go conservative because time has moved forward and these things may have gone down. Maybe this is the wrong way to go, but I'm going to say this thing is $29.98.
Well, you are pretty close, Dave. $24.99. And there is a little coupon button there for an extra 10% off of your purchase.
Well, I was close on the retail, and that's all that matters.
Yes. But yeah, nice looking little FM transmitter.
Yeah, these work great. I like these.
Yes, but your new car, you don't need it. You've got it all built in because you're all fancy pants now.
Now, a pro tip on these type of FM transmitters, and one of the things that my daughter kind of learned the hard way is she's like, I'm tired of this thing. It's not working. And she went and got an auxiliary cable to plug directly in her phone that plugs directly in her car stereo. And I said, you did not need to do that because this device has an auxiliary output that you can plug into your car stereo. Then you can connect via Bluetooth to the FM transmitter, go directly to your stereo. You don't even have to use the FM portion. It's just Bluetooth. At that point, it's just a Bluetooth receiver for your car.
Oh, I like that idea. I should get one of these. I do not have a way, but in my car, I always have I have a AirPod in listening to podcast almost probably 99% of the time. So I just don't really need that, but good looking little product. Whoever bought that, let us know how it works. Do a video review for our YouTube channel. We'll put it up there for you. They get us a lot of hits. If you're looking for one, go check out some of Dave's reviews on there. He's done a couple of them.
They're so terrible, but that's YouTube. You look at anybody's YouTube channels, their first videos are terrible.
Well, terrible is relative. You get to the point, you don't waste a lot of people's time, you don't have a 10-minute intro, so I think they're great. The production quality might not be top of class, but the content is wonderful, Dave.
Content is on fleek.
On fleek. Another one of our episode titles from way back. Well, it is probably well over time to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you have questions on anything, if there's a story you see, the Facebook group, the Facebook page, the website, the phone number, any of those things, get in contact with us. Twitter, please let us know what you're curious about in tech or what you've found lately, your picks of the week, any of that stuff. We'd love to feature you on our show or wherever we might use that content. So we know a lot, but we don't know everything. So we appreciate your help navigating this wild world of tech. So with that, get out there and tech better. Yeah, it was kind of long, but we had a couple pauses in there and foibles, and there's probably plenty you can cut out.
Yeah, every part where you were talking, I think I'll cut out.
Perfect. That is what I'm looking for.